Get up to 50% off on a wide range of home essentials. That's furniture, appliances, and more. Browse our latest catalog and shop in-store or online. The prices are valid from the 7th to the 20th of October 2024 while stocks last. T's and C's apply. iDiskiTV powered by Sports Betting. iDiski Times. Bafana Bafana in the city of Gqeberha, Port Elizabeth. That's the city or the hometown of Ronan Williams. Thank you to the people of Gqeberha for coming in full numbers, although there was some disruption as well with the overexcitement. That shows that people are hungry to see the national team, and we want to spread this national team across South Africa. People from Venda want to see it. In KZN, they want to see it. In Bloemfontein, they showed us that they want to see Bafana Bafana. In Gqeberha, in Cape Town, and of course, the biggest city or the most popular city in the country, Johannesburg, is where we also want to see Bafana Bafana. So that's the national team, genuinely speaking. So well done to the people of the Port Elizabeth. They've shown that they have the numbers and they want to watch Bafana Bafana. With that overexcitement, there was a delay in that game. However, Bafana Bafana walk over, really very professional performance. We saw what we wanted to see there with confidence boost with some of our attacking players as well. Lindo Pep, what do you make of the game, sir?
Yeah, Shabunjan Kulego.
Yes, sir.
I think Ngara.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Kulego. For me, a couple of talking points, to be honest with you. The first talking point is a set piece, which is Congo consists on a set piece. The second talking point is Mokoena. The third talking point for me, in my opinion, is the tactical structure, more especially with the midfield combination ga Obas no Mokoena. But maybe let's start with the first one.
Before you talk about the first talking point, why did you cut your hair? Just show the people what happened.
I was trying again, look, it's not working.
But your look is good. The hair was good.
The hair was good. I really regret it, to be honest.
Oh,
I
yeah.
really do.
Okay.
But yeah,
first talking point, set pieces. You always say this, and so makes the same point as well, that when all things are equal, when things are difficult, and sometimes that happens in professional football at the highest level, you want to have an edge, an advantage, and that's why you practice your set pieces.
This is what top teams do. We scored 2 today, and the first one was the most crucial one. As a Congo coach, as the head coach of Congo, you are probably very angry to come in an away game and concede via set piece, more especially them defending zonal. You know, they were supposed to go one man marking, more especially last poll.
Sure.
You do not allow, more especially South Africa, knowing that Sinama set piece coaches and stuff like that. I think a good job from the technical team, Bafana Bafana, to identify that Congo is vulnerable on a set piece. That's the first foundation. Remember, these guys didn't train. That's another thing. They just arrived in the country 2 days ago. Sure. So obviously, the mentality or even them training before the game, that already delayed them. But the second goal, the preparation was not clean. The second goal, Nkulego, for me, that's what makes the game. That's where now, as South Africans, we can start relaxing. The team can start relaxing and play our normal game. A good goal from Gqeberha Mokoena. I always say this. Our midfield players need to score outside the box. I think the boy, this is his best quality. But I think I think Umfana, Bamlungisi mentality, psychological, Coach Mangoba Mniti, to be honest with you. Because what he has done now, today, for me, one of the best performances I've seen in the last 6 months from the boy. I think he started the season.
Oh, he did that at AFCON as well.
Yeah, he did that at AFCON, but that's 12 months ago probably, or 8 months ago, 9 months ago.
Yeah,
10 months.
In January.
6 months, how he started the season. Even Kulego, after he got injured against the Swallows, he never came back the same, for me, in my opinion. There's an injury after he scored, he got injured. In the final, he didn't play well. The start of the season, he didn't start the season well. Gave the coaches probably, sometimes I'm a player now. They can always have an attitude, more especially with the previous coach. But for me, he comes into this game. He's been given an opportunity by the national team who coach Hugo Prositz. He's one of his soldiers. For me, absolute dominance. The first detail is Agasabu Yolanda Lapemanzin. Akasabu Gatimal, Namsanje Will Motos. For me, Obas, he might have scored a goal. Played very well in Kulego under pressure. He can't get a surprise, more especially after the third goal. So he's going to look good. Because we receive one, negative, sideways. For me, Utebza had the right energy, had the right pain resistance, the right press resistance as well. Because on the ball, check with his back towards goal. Very comfortable with Lalama one touch, very comfortable with Tena progressive game, very comfortable with linking midfield attack. And then you're looking at Umkwana on the right side. We've got a right back, we've got a right wing position problem in this country. In my opinion, because you don't probably have someone who has the quality in the final third with both Umkwana and both Umudao. I thought maybe we'll introduce a right back. This is why Dino van Rooyen is going to be very important for the national team.
Especially national team.
In moving forward. Because now we have wingers, we are using a right footer and we don't play with inverted wingers. We don't have a left footer. So the problem is...
Doesn't this put us exactly where this has been building itself up to?
Yeah.
the idea of Saleng being so important with Pirates. Now, there's a problem, of course, with this overall play, but if we don't have someone on the right-hand side with Bafana Bafana, Mokoena, okay, he had an assist here and there, but his general play on the right-hand side is not as dominant as what Apolis is doing on the left-hand side. Sooner or later, there's going to have to be a conversation about Saleng playing there instead of finding creative solutions. Eventually, it's going to be who is the right wing who is scoring goals and assisting in the Premier Soccer League at the moment. And maybe we're going to have to start talking about the conversation with Saleng.
The best one in the Premier League right now that's playing there who inverted is a Ribeiro. But he's not a
South African, yeah.
The second best one we have is Usaleng. And this criticism of Usaleng comes from that we've got national team standards for him. That we need him to be a national team player. He's got the technical ability, he's got the capabilities. You understand? More especially when we compare him to what we have.
And in terms of goal scoring.
In terms of...
It's his overall game that's the question. But I think we're not... It's not going to be too long for Uguta Bamva. Like, he's just going to keep on scoring and he keeps on performing, scoring in the final. We've already discussed it, me and you, and so with our radio show, that eventually that's the early contender for player of the season. At some point, we're going to have to discuss him being in the national team, I think.
I think for me, right now, currently, I'm going to be honest with the public. He's not one of my favorite wingers. Because I love dribbling wizards, I love ball-playing wing. He's a goal scorer. But in the national team and in South Africa, he's probably the closest one we have to making it to the national team. Because for me, the Mokoena boy, he hasn't proven... What has he done for him to be a starter in the national team? I know totally contract Mfana to go to Esperance. But for me, the right wing position is something to be talked about. I think it's a conversation to be had because you've got Mfukeng on the bench, who I feel can also occupy in that position.
I was thinking the same, that one of Apolis and... because you need the balance. You need to attack on the left and on the right. I thought maybe you can sacrifice one of Apolis and Mofokeng to then have both of them. If the coach wants to play Mofokeng for Apolis and compete them in the same position, then Saleng has to be in that discussion on the right-hand side.
But Nkulego, Usaleng must be in the discussion, but this is the thing I want to say, Umshishi, a great legend for South African football. But for me, with how modern football has moved and how the introduction of a hybrid football, right? For me, Ncheka Ulail Foster, he's not bringing out the best on Ulail Foster in the first half, in my opinion. Because for me, in the first half, you're looking at the tactical structure of having a 2-3. How Congo defense is they pin two of their attacking midfielders where they played with a 4-1-4-1, where the two attacking midfielders were pinned by Ubapino Obas Notebza, and then the other defensive midfielder focus on Umshishi. That's why Umshishi dropper too much. But now this is the thing in the first half, Umshishi ya dropper, but maga dropper, we get a run from Ulail Foster, we get a run from Apolis. But now he doesn't play the through ball because it's not his strength. You know he's going to be late in terms of support alia pass. What does he do? Ulail Foster has to make a second run. When he makes a second run, Umfidi will pass, we expect you 1-2. We are not bringing out the best in our strikers with him more as a number 10. That's why even with Coach Pito, he used him on the left coming inside. Because now we needed to play quicker. In the second half, this is what happens. That's why Ulail Foster gets the opportunities. Because now we are able to find him behind. We are able to find him diagonal. Because Umshishi drops a little bit deeper. And then now Apolis, which is something that I don't like personally. Every time I got Petit Bola on the left, to cutter in and play diagonal balls, whether to the right back or whether to the winger that's on the opposite side. He plays, I thought he fluke Lela Bola because we have to Ulail Foster. But that pass is probably the pass that Ulail Foster wants. They probably have a communication to say, receive it Bola left and watch my run. Because Umshishi all the time, he wants us to play according to his strength. 1-2. And Ulail Foster, his strength for me is not being a ball-playing striker.
Yeah, he doesn't want those 1-2s.
Yeah, he wants to receive the ball in front of him and pick a spot and finish. Yeah, but for me, both wingers today ineffective. Lack of consistency. This is another problem. We played very, very well. But in Ngolego, this is what we want from a South African winger. Can you show up for 90 minutes, not in patches? The very same with the Obas. This is what I want with Utebza. For me, Utebza is sending a signal to Mamelodi Sundowns technical team to say, I am ready to play now. I'm humble enough. I am humbling myself. I want to be coachable because he's probably one of the best eights we have in the country. I think namhlanje Nkule we prove it wrong. A lot of confidence, a lot of arrogance, the energy as well. Yeah. And this is another thing about Mbule, and this is a reference to a player like Mbule to say, sometimes you do your talking on the pitch. Sometimes the least you can do is to do your talking on the pitch.
I mean, to your point about Utebza, before we wrap up, I think if you looked at his marker, whatever they were on the back in terms of how many kilometers covered, there was a point where he's jumping over Obas, and then he carries that ball, he jumps over him in attack. So he's jumping over to collect, jumping over to attack as well. So it was so important. To wrap up, positive. National team, in PE, they win. They were 3-0 up by halftime as well. That's a positive thing.
Yeah.
1-3 for Bafana Bafana.
Yeah. For me, the first thing, Kulego, is this is one of the best performances in this group. Performance, because you're looking at the fact that you've got a South Sudan, you've got a Uganda. We know what happened in both games, but so far in this group, I'm convinced with the performance. Obviously, I had said that this is probably the easiest route to the AFCON. I am expecting these performances, a little bit more consistency, but now we more especially this team didn't train. We are looking at that midfield. That midfield looks vulnerable in my opinion. They're playing too far.
The two of them.
Yeah, the goals shouldn't trick you. For me, the midfield looks too far. Should drop too deep. But now we need to start bringing in the best out of Lyle Foster. We need to profile him proper. What kind of a striker is he so that we can use him a little bit better?
Sure.
And then we need to be.
He's injured as well. Just on that as well.
Yeah, he's
I'm
injured.
sure Burnley. You remember that there was this
Yeah.
thing, a mental illness, and not being released to Bafana Bafana. Yeah. He didn't play at the AFCON as well. I'm sure Burnley, they're chasing promotion. The fact that he's injured, we'll find out the extent of the injury. That's another factor as well to complicate Izinto going forward. We may not get him again, which is something that's going to be negative for us because he was accepted back into the country.
Yeah.
People forgave him for not playing at the AFCON and so on and so forth. But now he's just got injured, and Burnley's like, okay, this is the reason why we don't want to release him.
Yeah, but Nkulego, to be honest with you, it's part of the game. I think they've got the best medics to deal with these injuries. And I'm hoping it's not really a knee injury. I'm hoping it's not something that's going to keep him out for long. But with regards to Burnley, Nkulego, it's part of the game. Even the best players in Europe do get injured, whether they complain. I think Lyle Foster, one of the things that he wants when he wakes up in the morning, each and every single day, is to represent his country. And for him, alimale where we need him the most. For me, I would say unlucky to the boy. But as well, unlucky to Ipenli, but we need him in the national team. He's probably one of the players that we need mostly.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's a different flavor of a striker, Lyle Foster. Not every single member of the team needs to play football. At some point, you need someone there in that box to just score the goals or finish off whatever you are doing. Well done to Bafana Bafana. Well done to the people of Port Elizabeth as well for supporting Bafana Bafana. And I suppose for everyone as well will watch on a Friday night our national team playing at the African Cup of Nations qualifiers. It is Gqeberha Times, all sports betting. Thank you for watching us.